It's a story this gospel story shows Jesus at his most human. Twice it says he was deeply troubled in spirit. And uniquely in the Gospels it actually says he wept. This is Jesus showing human emotion at the grave of a friend. It's a very human story, although it seems an astounding miracle in the end. The Jesus that's presented to us is in many ways one with us in his humanity. And the first thing he has to do is make a tough decision, because the sisters send to him for help, saying Lazarus is dead. And astonishingly, Jesus doesn't respond. He stops where he is and does nothing for 2 days. Why? The only reason I can think of is that he intuits, he knows in his heart of hearts, this is how it must be. That a greater good will ensue if he waits than if he goes pounding up straight away to lay hands on Lazarus. There's going to be an even greater miracle. So that's his decision, and throughout this miracle he has to live with the consequences of that decision. All the things dragging down on him. And the first thing that drags down on him is that, well, he shouldn't go back to Jerusalem anyway, near Jerusalem anyway, because he's only just escaped stoning by the Jews. He's got away, gone out of Judea, across the Jordan to the comparative safety of the other bank. And now he's being asked to go back. And the disciples don't want him to go. So the first thing he has to do is to be absolutely true to what he has decided to do, which is to wait and then go. And then, as soon as he goes, he has to overcome another problem. I've written a bit about it on the news sheets, but since the younger folks may not be able to read the news sheets, I've got a picture to help them with it. Do you know who that is? Who is it? It's Eel. Hands up, everybody under the age of 336 who is into Winnie the Pooh. So you're all made out Eeyore. And that's how in the news sheet I've written up Thomas. I've said he's an Eeyore. He always looks on the worst side. So what is his encouraging comment to Jesus when Jesus says, okay, I am now going to go up to Bethany, near Jerusalem, to heal Lazarus, to be with him and his sisters. Thomas's helpful comment is, let's all go up and die as well. Just what you need, isn't it, when you've taken a really tough decision. So that's Eeyore. The only snag with having chosen Eeyore is that at the end of the day, everybody loves Eeyore. He's thoroughly likeable. You can't help but sympathise him. So I thought I'd come up with another character to emphasise just what a drag that sort of unbelief and pessimism can be. And this is from a slightly more adult book, but one that I deeply love, and I was pleased to learn that so does Paul. Who's into Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Well, that is a minority taste. How many people know about Marvin, the paranoid android? Yeah? I think he's famous outside, even those who've read the books or heard it on the radio. And Marvin is Eeyore, only not lovable. His favourite comment is, I won't enjoy it, you know. And he's deeply resentful. The fact that he has a brain the size of a planet and all he's used for is running little messages. He's a total and utter drag. That's the first thing that Jesus has to overcome, is the spirit of pessimism. It won't work out, you know. Not a good idea. This is silly. That's the first drag on him. The second is the fact that he has made this hard decision to wait. And so Lazarus dies and is going to be raised again. Jesus knows that. But everybody is telling him he made the wrong decision. First thing that happens is Martha. It has to be Martha. She's the active one. She comes running to meet Jesus. And what's the cheering thing she says to him? If you'd been here, he wouldn't have died. Now Jesus knows that. That's the decision he's made. To wait so there'll be a greater glory. But it's one thing to make the decision. It's another thing to have Marvin telling you, it won't work out, you know. And it's another thing to face the accusation of somebody you know and love saying, you got it wrong. Where were you when I needed you? So Martha says that. Then Mary comes. And what does Mary say? Exactly the same words. If you'd been here, he wouldn't have died. And what do the crowd say? The crowd say, surely he who made the blind man see could have stopped this man dying. And don't think about these as nice crowds. You know, we think this is a funeral. So we know what funerals are like because we do them in Christ Church. And everybody's very solemn and reserved. And occasionally there's a few tears from the widow maybe, the closest family, even a few manly tears from the closest male relatives. Now this is a Palestinian crowd. We're in the Middle East here. You've all seen the pictures on the television, alas, all too frequently, of funerals in Palestine or in Israel or now in Syria. This is a hysterical weeping. This is a howling weeping. They actually used to employ weeping women. If you couldn't rely on a family to be upset enough, you called in people to do the moaning and groaning for you. So Jesus faces all this negativity. And what does he say to Mary and Martha? In fact, he just says, look, you've got to believe. Do you believe that I'm the resurrection and the life? And what does he get? He gets, yeah, okay, if you say so. At least that's how I read the gospel. I know it says, yes, I believe that you're the Christ who'd come into the world. But I don't hear it as that enthusiastic, oh, that's all right then. No, it's if you say so. So much so that this reduces Jesus to tears. Now, why have I laboured all this so much? It's because it is Jesus at his most human. And at his most human, he's there as our example, as our teacher. These things are written, John says, that we may believe. Or as Paul puts it, all Holy Scripture is written for our instruction. This is Jesus walking by faith as we have to walk by faith. And what we say to ourselves is, it was easier for him. And the answer is, it wasn't easier for him, he was just better at it. Because he did it more often. Because he practiced all his life long, walking according to the will of his Father. Because he stayed close to his Father in prayer. Because he felt the love of God continually in his heart. He was better at it. But the story's the same. There will come times in our walk of faith, there will come times in our lives when we're trying to follow through and do what we feel is right, and everybody's telling us it's wrong. And everything seems to be going wrong, and everything seems to be pulling against us. And this is simply an image of the faith that overcomes in the face of everything. And the result of it is the greater glory of God, the greater miracle. It's about persevering faith. It's not about easy, slick miracles that come as soon as you ask for them. It's about the times when we have to hang on, when we have to walk. But if we believe, we will see the glory of God. Not easy, but we used to have a slogan we used a lot in my last church. I think I've used it here. Jesus never said it would be easy. He just said it would be worthwhile. End of story.